Hi, everyone. This is James Giglio, CEO of MVP Interactive, and welcome to the MVP Podcast. Our podcast will bring insight to a range of topics involving technology, consumer engagement, experiential marketing, and general business-related subjects. This show will host not only our great roster of clients from the professional sports world, along with Fortune 500 brands and agencies, but other entrepreneurs and startups. We hope our podcast brings value, and thank you for listening. For general inquiries or topic requests, please email mvppodcast@mvp-interactive.com, and please subscribe to our YouTube page and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and SoundCloud with account name MVP Interactive. Hi, everyone. This is James Giglio with the MVP Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, Laura Maskell from the Coca-Cola Company. She's the Marketing Activation Manager. Thrilled to have her here today. We have worked with Laura and her team for the last 2 years with a variation of projects, both relating to NFL projects and Major League Baseball. Really excited to have you here. I know that you're local and you handle a lot of the regional team, so it's exciting to be able to talk about that, given this is the Super Bowl edition, right?
Yes.
So as way of background, I was kind of like in preparation of our podcast here, I kind of like to put together just a couple of quick bullet points. And the fact that Coca-Cola is a 130-year-old company and generally speaking, one of the top 5 most valued brands in the world, that essentially 1.8 billion people on any given day is drinking your product are just staggering numbers. And I had to kind of think to myself, wow, and we get to work with you. How cool is here.
We get to work with you.
Well, thank you very much. I just thought that was a fascinating point, and we're obviously very grateful to work with you guys and your team, and you guys are so forward thinking both on the technology and the activation side of things. So it's really a perfect marriage, so to speak, in terms of 2 companies aligning. So thank you again. So I want to make that public.
Oh no, thank you. We love working with you guys, and I'm happy to be here and happy about our relationship.
Okay, great. So, we like to learn a little bit more about you and your background, and, we can kind of go into, what you do with Coca-Cola, but, maybe give us a little bit of background about yourself.
Yeah, so I moved around a lot as a kid. So one of the things that I was always passionate about actually was travel. And I ended up... I graduated high school in Texas, went to Texas A&M, and another one of my passions was sports. I did gymnastics pretty much my whole life. I was on the gymnastics team at A&M, but also was involved in a number of other things on campus as well. So when I graduated, I actually worked for a leadership education program and traveled all over the world, and then ultimately went back to graduate school. And because of that travel experience, I got a call from a friend who worked at Coca-Cola and said, "Hey, there's this role in the multicultural marketing team. We think you'd be a perfect fit." And so I said, "Sure, let's see what this is about." So for my first about year and a half, I think, I was on the multicultural team, focused on a number of different things relating to sports or scholarship programs, all different kinds of stuff. And then eventually, because I come from a big sports family and just have such a passion, was lucky to be able to move into the team that I'm on now. So now I manage our marketing relationship with a number of our sports, entertainment, and university partners.
Okay.
In the Northeast.
That's fantastic. So you got your feet wet, so to speak, in the multicultural division. Yes. So what were some of the initiatives or projects that you would work there in the communities that you would outreach, and how Coca-Cola as a brand values that type of community service?
Yeah, absolutely. I worked on all different kinds of things. Some of the more, I don't know if memorable is the right word, but definitely some different things than that I worked on were the CIAA tournament, which is basically this huge basketball tournament for historically Black colleges and universities. And it is not just a basketball tournament, but it's also a huge party that whole week out in Charlotte. It's a really cool thing. So I was always involved in the activation there. I was very involved with Calle Ocho down in Miami. So if you're not familiar with that, it's a huge, Miami has a huge Cuban population, but outside of, Cuban heritage, just, Hispanic Americans in general. And it's this huge, party essentially that happens. Fun. We have, a bunch of music. We do all kinds of programming. We have a Coca-Cola stage every year. And fun fact, I don't remember what year it was before I started working on the team, but Pitbull actually got his. He performed at Calle Ocho back in the day before he was Pitbull. Before he became popular. Okay. Yeah. I think he went by Pitbull then, but it was before he is who he is today.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it was interesting to learn a little bit more about that division when we met with your counterparts out in Los Angeles, and the significance of the Fanta brand as part of the Coca-Cola umbrella and the Hispanic community, and the outreach, and how important it is for a brand to stay involved with a multifaceted of consumers. So it was interesting because once you work with a brand, you're really not sure outside of what your general common knowledge or maybe your experience with the product is. But could you talk about a little bit more about working with a large brand like Coca-Cola and some of the things that maybe surprised you as a new employee to say, wow, we're not only a global brand, but we're making an impact?
Yeah, absolutely. When I referenced, I got that call about someone saying, "Hey, I think you'd be a perfect fit." And yeah, I have to say, when I went through the interview process, I just absolutely fell in love with every single person that I met through that process, and that's why I basically said yes, absolutely. This company is a perfect fit for me from a culture standpoint. The company really values optimism, diversity, and inclusion, and I felt that from day one. Just genuinely, people care about making an impact in their community, whether it's through education or through green initiatives or whatever it might be. People generally care about making their communities better. In terms of Coke being the big company that it is, definitely one of the big benefits is, we are able to make a difference in a pretty impactful way. My first month at Coke, I don't even remember how I got connected to him, but I was able to meet and spend about an hour of one-on-one time with the guy that leads our global clean water initiatives. And I, if I didn't already feel good about working for Coca-Cola, I learned about a lot of the clean water initiatives we did that most people don't know about. And it was just really empowering and made me feel really good.
Yeah. And I guess, that's a really strong point too, because I suppose the counter to being such a large brand is, some consumers or people that don't have, that access just kind of have their opinions or what have you, and, are anti-large corporations. So, to learn more and have that awareness out about the green initiative or water initiative is really important to kind of break down those stereotypes and sort of anti-big corporation mindset, right?
Right.
Yeah. So given that the Coca-Cola is such a large brand, everyone, it's such a piece of America. Knowing marketing channels are very strategic. Why do you think, or why does the brand concentrate on sports marketing and sponsorship the way they do, and what's the importance there?
Yeah, so overall, Coca-Cola strives to inspire moments of optimism and happiness, and we, truly want to be integrated into people's everyday lives. And sports is a very important part of many people's everyday lives, whether somebody's, playing in a soccer league or, whatever it may be, or if they're, watching it on TV, watching pro teams, watching their kids. Sports is, it's just a big part of people's lives. So, we want to be part of these moments, whether your favorite team is performing on the field or whether, the team is impacting the community off the field. We want to be part of that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the real fascinating components in working with you guys too is, kind of shifting gears a little bit to the technology piece. In our capabilities and sort of suite of software and whatever engagement levels that we produce, we look to gain some type of consumer insight for the brand and continue that ROI or justification of, the expenses for these marketing initiatives, right? And so one of the things that struck me, and I really love the sort of philosophy of it, is you're really less, Coca-Cola and the brand is really less concerned about, quote, traditional marketing data and CPI and all of that good stuff, but you're more about the experience, right? And, you want to create that experience for fans or consumers. Obviously, brand message is very important, but, the synergy between sports and your brand and creating that experience, seemed like a perfect fit, and like the philosophy of that was really intriguing to me.
Yeah. I think, technology is important, and the way that we use it really depends on what our specific goals are for, a specific initiative or partnership. So, for example, I can speak to a couple, programs that I've worked on in the past that leverage technology. I guess it was 2 years ago, actually, working with you guys, I work with the Philadelphia Phillies as one of my partners. And, one of the goals was fan engagement, both for the Phillies and for Coke. And for Coke also, we wanted to build brand love. So, kind of with that as a starting point, what we did was we tapped into the tradition of bobbleheads in baseball. But we made it, one, a little bit more personalized, and two, kind of adapted it in a way that we made it current with today's digital age. So it kind of makes me think, I don't know if you've seen the movie Jumanji over the holidays, or the newer one that came out. So arguably, I think, potentially the best movie that came out over this last holiday season. But without giving any spoilers away, if you saw the first one, it was basically a board game that came to life. So this reboot of it, if you will, it was a similar context in that they're playing a game, but they did a great job making it more recent. So it was actually the game was done via a console, so they were actually in a video game. Yeah, so again, cool. Kind of a little bit more relevant to today. So anyway, going back to the Phillies. With that tradition of bobbleheads, we were able to work with you guys and come up with a really cool augmented reality morphing station experience where fans could click on screens and take their photos and basically transform themselves into a bobblehead, and they could share that digitally. We did printouts with them so they could hang it on their fridge or show people in person. Right. And we always get really great feedback.
It's a great product to produce. It's always, quote, successful because it's so relevant. It really transcends any particular sport, but particularly as it relates to you guys, I mean, what's more Americana than baseball, Coca-Cola, and bobbleheads, right? And so it's like the trifecta of consumerism, so to speak, in terms of the experience. And it worked out really well. And it was nice to see some iterations after the first season performing so well. In the second season, we were able to add that printer, so people actually had the memento, I should say. It was pretty neat to also, anecdotally, this is kind of self-promotion, so I apologize, but coming home one afternoon and turning on the Phillies game, and the team actually did a media hit on the morphing station, so like a madman, I had my cell phone out and recorded the screen rather than DVRing the video on the console. But yeah, it was an awesome production to be a part of, and so really happy that everybody has been enjoyed it, both the fan clients and obviously us producing it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So have you? I know technology is a focus of yours and your team and the brands and what have you. Can you speak to so many other experiences? Again, not necessarily MVP productions, but we are lovers of technology, so I'd love to hear a little bit more on other things that you've done.
Yeah, absolutely. So you may or may not be I know you're familiar, but listeners may or may not be familiar with what used to be the My Coke Rewards platform that we had. It was basically a rewards system as you drink product, and you can earn points and win cool rewards or get cool prizes or gear or swag or whatever it may be. So we last year in 2017 basically transitioned from MCR, from My Coke Rewards, into Coke.com. And I was able to work on a pilot program with this new technology that we call Sip and Scan, basically. So essentially what it is there's this icon on our packaging. You can think of it as a QR code. That's not exactly what it is, but there's an icon on our packaging, and basically you go to Coke.com, scan that icon, and then you could enter into a sweepstakes or whatever it may be. So last year we launched this and did some testing for our football programming in the fall. So the neat thing was when we launched this program, it aligned with us relaunching our Coca-Cola Zero Sugar brand. So with that specific program, one of our biggest goals was driving trial of the reformulated brand,
right?
While tapping into that passion of football that football fans have. So kind of marrying the two, we had the icon scan and encourage people to go to Coke.com and either scan the code or enter the codes on the cap, and then they could either win, free 20-ounce, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. They could win a VIP experience to, let's say, the Philadelphia Eagles game later that season. They could win all different kinds of stuff, gift cards to get some gear, and part of that. Was really just educating or starting the education process for consumers for this new platform, and we had so many learnings, and since then we've been able to make enhancements. So I can't give any spoilers away, but yeah, we've definitely been able to enhance that technology and improve programming for 2018.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's great. It sounds like it's a perfect, as you said, the marrying of all of your initiatives, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's packaging, the technology, and then also driving traffic to a particular website. I mean, it's really that holistic kind of consumer experience and journey. So that's very, that's not only strategic but very smart and kind of holistically bringing it all together, right?
Yep.
So, we were talking about, maybe some lighter experiences outside of technology, and, you guys are a product, right? And a beverage, and, at the end of the day, you're looking for consumers and new consumers, and, what are some of the activations or promotions that you do that maybe not leverage technology?
Yeah. I think I referenced driving trial, honestly, sometimes, even just a couple weeks ago at the 2 home playoff games for the Eagles, we still want people to keep trying not just Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, but our other brands that have been around for a while too. So sometimes we'll literally just set up a table and have 3-ounce cups of product and, basically give free trials, free samples away to people. That doesn't leverage any type of technology at all. It's really just grassroots getting out there and reminding people, oh yeah, I really do
And the
like
reminding
this.
comment is really important too, because I think and it's also awareness, because when people think of Coke, they think of Coke and Diet Coke, right? And that's just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. So can you speak about a little bit more of the internal brands that happen that, maybe people aren't completely aware or associate with Coca-Cola?
Yeah, I mean, we have, globally, we have over 500 brands. Not all 500 plus are within the United States. But some of the ones that people don't realize, I think most people know Sprite is one of our brands. Dasani is usually pretty well known as well. Powerade, Smart Water. If you like tea, Gold Peak Tea, Honest Tea, Fuse Tea. We're also in the milk business.
The milk
I
business.
am,
How about
chocolate milk is one of my favorite things in the world. So if you haven't gone out there, go try Fairlife chocolate milk, or regular milk, or Yup, as well. So, that's really cool. It's a really cool backstory. But it's basically ultra filtered milk. So there's no lactose. So for our lactose intolerant friends,
Raising my hand on that. Amazing.
you can drink it, and it has half the sugar as normal milk and twice the protein. So,
Wow.
we have many brands.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's fantastic. So with that said, with having so many brands, maybe let's shift gears a little bit and talk about, as a marketer, what are some of the challenges you face, both with maybe, activations, promotion, and just general marketing? Because like anyone, I mean, there's going to be challenges, right? No matter how big you are. And so can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, you go down. Well, there's not just one beverage aisle anymore in the grocery store, but there are, even outside of Coke, there's many different brands popping up left and right. So even internally, so it's prioritizing, which brand are we focusing on in this, and what's secondary and what's primary, and what's really not the right target. I think it's honestly both a blessing and a curse to have so many brands,
Sure.
because there really is a product for everyone, for every situation, and probably even more than one. But yeah, going through that prioritization process to figure out, we would love everyone to drink everything, but in reality, most people have their top few for whatever reason. That's what they'd like to drink.
Right, right. As technologists as well, we currently like to share a lot of on-site war stories with some of the challenges, whether it be weather, environmental issues, and all of those good things that makes our sort of world and our marketing space both exciting and challenging, right? And so, going back to just your brand challenges, for other folks listening that are in the experiential space or maybe looking to activation, is there any strategies or philosophies that you carry to, like, okay, here are the protection plan, or do you have a set of vendors that you like to work with to say, okay, they'll cover us? And if you could speak a little bit about that, that could be helpful for the community.
Yeah. For me, I like to say it's pretty easy, because Coca-Cola has this vetting process, basically. So we have a list of agencies on our roster that we work with. Sure. And anyone outside of that roster, it's really hard to work with anyone outside of that roster for a number of reasons. But yeah, so it's, pretty much depending on what we're trying to do, whether it's experiential or more social, digital, or whatever it may be, we pretty much already have our short list of who we work with. And then at that point, a number of factors could determine who you work with. But definitely, in that experiential space, you referenced weather. Yes, of course, having rain plans, and sometimes there's only so much you can do. So sometimes, with our Share Coke tour that we've had the last few summers, there is technology involved with there, including touch screens. And if it's a rainy day, at a theme park, that's pretty much you're shut down. There's, even if there's a covered indoor space, you're probably not going to get a lot of people roaming around. So yeah, definitely contingency plans.
So with
but-
those contingency
yeah.
plans, is that like a good opportunity for kind of to kick in that product placement or sampling and things of that nature? Is that a part of kind of a backup for you guys?
Well, a lot of times the sampling is part of our original plan anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair point.
We kind of do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, sometimes we just roll with it. So maybe it's getting a little bit more creative with, instead of having your samples at a table, maybe you have people going out, and bringing the product to the people,
Sure.
if you will. Yeah, it's sometimes we can get really creative with that contingency planning, and other times you just it's like, well, you know what, it's going to be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You can only control what you can control.
Exactly, and that's such a great point, and sometimes something that we just have to remember as well, because we want to constantly overproduce for our clients and really put the best product forward and make sure that the fans and or the consumers are enjoying their experience. But as they say, S will happen sometimes, right? And so it's how you handle that.
Yeah, and I think having that expectation set of if this happens, know that this is how we will or won't be able to react or adapt.
Absolutely. So we had mentioned we are on the heels of the Super Bowl 52 with the
Yes.
Eagles and the Patriots. So that's early February for us, and so we're 2 months into 2018. Is there anything that you can speak to? Any initiatives or new products or anything that the folks out there would be interested in hearing as a little of a sneak peek?
I know. Well, I can't give too much away. I'll say first, definitely what I'll be doing is watching the Eagles on Sunday, and then hopefully I'll be really busy next week with some stuff. This past, I don't even know what date is, within the last week or so, we launched our new Diet Coke flavors. So we have 4 new flavors: ginger lime, feisty cherry, zesty blood orange, and twisted mango. If you haven't tried any of those yet, I recommend it. I think definitely in 2018 you'll start to see.
Great for Super Bowl parties.
Yes, great for Super Bowl parties. But you'll start to see us in a number of different ways, promoting this Diet Coke relaunch with the new flavors.
Can you speak to that at all, or is that too soon in terms of packaging, branding, things of that nature?
I mean, it's out. I mean, you could go to your grocery store or wherever right now, and you'll see it. I think the cans look really sexy.
Okay.
They're kind of taller, slim, and have basically a colored line bar depending on the flavor. And
cool.
So regular Diet Coke, even though the can looks a little bit different, it's the exact same formula. So for the Diet Coke lovers out there, don't fret. We did not make any changes. We'll be around the U.S. touring. I talked about driving trial earlier. We'll be giving away a bunch of samples. It's in an experiential type way at a number of events and things. And other than that, pretty much kind of a generic blanket answer to that question is we're going to continue trying to inspire moments of optimism and happiness while trying new things, so doing a little bit of what we've always done with some stuff we haven't done before.
Yeah,
so.
That's fantastic. Well, Laura, thank you so much. This was a great podcast for us.
Thank you.
For us and with you. It's been a great pleasure to work with you and continue to work through new challenges and new opportunities together with you. And so for those of you, speaking of the Eagles that were at the game last week or 2 weeks ago, we had the pleasure of activating our 360 selfie platform that Eagles fans and both Vikings fans participated in, which we love to see. Opposing teams still participate, connect with the brand, and enjoy their experience. So we look forward to the 2018 Major League Baseball season as well, and anything that should come up. So thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.